Today, we're going to talk about an air conditioning tune-up with Stay Cool Climate Control. Once the technician's parked, we're going to talk to the homeowner, ask a few questions, and begin our check. We're going to turn the thermostat down 5 degrees, switch it to cooling, and make sure that the unit is operating so we can perform our check.
When the technician arrives downstairs, we're going to get the return supply temperatures and as well as doing a visual inspection, making sure the refrigerant lines are good, everything's insulated properly, sealed up tight, there's no air leaks. We're going to check the electrical, make sure it's nice and tight, the gas line, the unions on the gas, pretty much anything that may look out of place for the system. We're just going to do that visual inspection and make sure everything's good to go. There's nothing that we're going to overlook during the tune-up and maintenance process. Another check we're going to do is the static pressure of the system. We're going to put a probe in the return side of the system and a probe in the supply side of the system. This is going to tell us what the friction of the airflow is and essentially how much air it's moving through the system. Using that number on our gauge in a chart within the manual, we can tell exactly how much air this system's moving, if it's moving too much air, too little air, or the perfect amount of air. Another important factor of our AC tune-up is we're going to clear this drain all the way to the floor drain and make sure it's clear of obstructions. If there are obstructions in that drain, it's going to back up to the evaporator coil and then overflow and cause water issues with your furnace and possibly your basement if it's finished. So we're going to make sure the drain's clear, the fitting's clear, and the evaporator coil itself is all clear. After we get our baseline readings, we're going to turn the system off and we're going to change the air filter to the system. This is very important because if it's not moving air, we're going to have issues. We're going to date the filter to make sure we know when it was put in. That way the homeowner knows whenever it needs to be changed in the future. And then when we do put this door on again, all those oversized filter tabs are going to get pushed in, completely sealing the system up. We're going to check the furnace cabinet, make sure there's nothing inside the furnace that shouldn't be in there, make sure everything's set properly airflow wise, there's no shorts in the wiring, all the motors are oiled up properly, working properly, and there's not a lot of excessive dust on the blower. A lot of things go into these checks, and we're just going to make sure the system is performing well as a whole. Once we move outside to the condensing unit, we're going to get some baseline readings of the electrical, the refrigerant charge. We're also going to do a visual inspection. As you can see, this unit is in need of a cleaning. We've got some insulation tears over there on the suction line. So we're going to get it all dialed in and make sure everything's working properly. The motors are working how they're supposed to. The voltages are proper. Everything needs to work together as a system to ensure you have a comfortable summer. We're going to take the side panel off the air conditioning unit to ensure we can get to the fins behind these hail guards. And as you can start to see, the unit is really in need of some maintenance. Now we're going to start cleaning the condensing unit and get all of this debris off of it. We're going to give it a brush down from the outside, make sure everything's out of those fins, and then once we're done with that, we can reach into the inside and push everything from the fins back out and go once more time over it and clean everything off. Once the unit's all cleaned off, we'll get it put back together, make sure all the screws are where they need to go, and continue with our performance check. Another check we'll do is check the capacitor, the contactor, the fan motor, and the compressor. Make sure all the electrical components in the system are working properly and within the manufactured specifications. Once the unit's all put back together, we're going to do one final cleaning, make sure the pad's all good, the surrounding areas are clean, the top of the unit's cleaned off, the house is cleaned off, make sure the area was nicer when we left than when we found it. And that is our air conditioning tune-up from Stay Cool Climate Control.